Welcome to the fourth part, and as from previous parts I tried to stop the leaks, but the main Honda fitting that was leaking, and it's not my fault, it was the fault of the Honda. Look at that, this stupid two-part fitting. Look at that, the upper part we can move it with the hand, so that's where the fuel leaks. That's why I have decided to add a completely on fitting. Okay, to work it's easy. One bolt here, one bolt on other side, then you will slide the seat forward and you will access the bolt behind. Here it is down there on the upper side. Then what we will do is remove the gear knob, put the handbrake to the top and lift this whole thing, okay, up. As we know, handbrake is in the way, so we have to lose this screw and then the handbrake will be all the way up. So let's release it. Here's what fitting we will need. This is the famous buckle fitting. We will drill it here, and this end is AN6. Now this is female AN6 to female AN6. So this will connect here, and we end with the female AN6. Now what will happen is this fitting is AN6 on one side and 3x8 on other side. This is the Honda fitting. The OEM is 3x8 size. Although the inside is, look at that, this is equal to 5x8. But I don't know why Honda choose the fitting broader, because the pipe is still the 5x16. So we will use this one, and this will go in this fitting, and this will be, the lock will be on this. Okay, so the lock will be here, and this will be fitting in this. Okay, this is there, and then our female AN6 to N6 into this one, and this will be going into the fuel tank. This pipe we will run to the fuel pump. Okay, so that will complete our fitting circuit. Time to use our universal fuel assembly tank wrench. You will need an extension and a ratchet, and once slightly loose, then it's very easy to even rotate with the hand. Okay, look at that. So you can see it's very easy. I can easily turn it. So let's open it up and show you next. Okay, after we remove it, make sure to tilt it into the fuel tank so that any extra fuel is drained. I already split it. Meanwhile, cover the fuel tank with some cloth. And how to disassemble this fuel assembly, you can see my previous parts. For right now, let's skip to the part where I start drilling the new fitting. And let's now drill hole here and smoothen these plastics so that our buckle nut fitting is flush like this. So let's drill a hole here with a staple drill. Hole is made, so we will need different type of burrs to trim these, smoothen these out, so that our washer will be flushly sitting over there like we did on this side. Okay, this type of fitting does not work, and luckily I have this type of fitting which came with my drill mat. It was flat, I just put it here and with the drill. Look at that. Now all these borders are smooth. My washer is just sitting nicely, tightly over here. Now it's time to pass this buckle fitting. I will pass it from the other end. Okay, this end will be inside, one washer will be here, one washer will be on this side. Okay, one washer here, one side inside, and this nut will be tightened from inside. Okay guys, so number 18, the key to tighten here, and under here I use the splash, and the buckle nut fitting is fitted. Okay, so now we will just attach this pipe over this, and we will good to go. And over this we will be using, where is our injection clamp, this one, okay, to tighten it up. Okay guys, been done. Here is it. Here is the under surface, and here it is directly going into the fuel pump. Okay, and all the wires have been fitted. This is the very famous loop which I have invented for the modern Hondas, because what happen is when this is compressed, when we tighten that lid, this is not kinked. Okay, look at that, this is not kinked anyway. Okay, so if this has been straight, this would kink. Okay, so look at that, it is not kinking from anywhere. And I closed the OEM Honda feed line with
Done.
some Honda bond,
Honda bond
and so that
out
no
and
vapor
inside.
is
So
emitting
this
outside
no
or
fuel
inside.
vapor. Now let's close this thing and put it into the fuel tank, and this whole mission will be over.
Always remember to put the rubber into the fuel tank before, not in the fuel tank assembly. Okay, put the rubber here and
Then you will fit this thing inside. Otherwise, that rubber margin here will be rubbing somewhere and this will not go. Put it back inside. Always you will tilt it this way so that this thing goes fast. Pushing our loop, and slightly we will push our loop. Here it is with my finger, and the loop is inside. So now the fuel pump assembly is touching the bottom of the fuel tank, and now it is pressing inside. Look at that. I can press it inside. So before, a very important thing, once you press it inside, this thing won't rotate. So keep it as it was before. For example, this arrow was here, so I will rotate it like that. It was like that. So come on, out of the way please. And now we will press it inside, and this will be jam inside that rubber. Okay, now it's pressed and it is not coming up. So that way it will be very easy for you to tighten this thing. Otherwise, if this is above and you are tightening this will be very difficult. Now that is pressed all the way inside. Look at that, how easy it will be with the hand. And on the end few rotations you can use this device or other devices. So look at that, it's almost done. Look at that, it's so easy if this is pressed before.
that rubber we already put in, that was holding the fuel assembly, and then we were able to tighten the lid with our hand. If you don't put the rubber before and put the rubber on the fuel assembly, then it is very difficult to tight.
Okay, almost tight. Now I'll be tight with this thing. Okay guys, so now when this time came to connect these, we have run into a little bit problem. Let me show you the fitting. This will be going like that, our AN62, and this is the problem. This fitting should have been 90 degrees. So now it is pointing upward. This is like that, and this I showed you, this will be going into like that. So you see the problem, this is pointing upward, so I cannot connect these two. And I tried to search it, but I could not find any of the female 90 degree to female AN6. So, and if I do find it somewhere, it will take almost a month to reach here. And since this is my daily car, I cannot afford to stand it like this for like a month. So what I will be doing it like I did for the other fittings. For example, look at that, this is the conventional N6 female to N6 male, and I attached my own this PTFE pipe around here, and this is connecting to OEM Honda fitting. Similarly this one, but the problem is the OEM, in other cases the OEM Honda fittings were leading almost here, so that I can reach my hand over here. But in this fitting, look at that, this pipe is going all the way, and I cannot find the other end where this plastic pipe is attaching to the metal part. Because if I show you by going under the car, so these are the metal pipes which is going into the engine bay, but all these pipes lead to this big shield under there, and I am not removing all this, so many screws and bolts over there. So what we will do is, we will do the conventional way as I did with the other fittings. And what is that conventional system? We will just use a normal AN6 female to AN6 this general fitting, and if I remove this, so we will just heat up our pipe with a heat gun and put it here and apply a clamp over here. But since this Honda pipes are a lot harder than our own these pipes, PTFE pipes we used. So we will be having extra care not to kink them and cut them with a good length. For example, this I will cut it like here, and then we will be applying this fitting here, and that fitting will be directly bolt on with our fitting. Okay, that way I will be doing it. Now let's cut it and apply, heat it with a heat gun. And this is AN6 oil based. Okay, the other fittings are AN6 PTFE. Their end is straight. Okay, you can see the oil fittings have their end tapered, so this helps very much because it is easy to put a tight pipe over it. Okay, because end is narrow, but in other fittings like that it is equal length, so the over there the pipe is very difficult to. Okay, let me show you what I am talking about. This is the oil based fitting, and look at the tapered end. Okay, well this is PTFE fitting. Okay, this has got some little piece, and look at that. So both this is okay, tapered one, this is the normal one. Look at that. This is the pipe we will be trying. So if I try to put it on here, the end just, so it starts to put it on. Okay, but if I try to do it same, this is very difficult because this is the same thing. Okay, also this has more area. Okay, the oil fittings has more area, so then the pipe is put on and clamps we can apply it. These have very little area where the pipe will be put. This you can put the pipe here and then on these threaded area too, so the fuel will not be leaking from here. You can put two clamps, one here and one here. I also had this bar fitting, AN6 to bar, but the bar beam fitting have very thick end. Okay, a broad end. I even cannot put that. Look at that. So the possibility of fitting is very difficult that it will fit the Honda pipes. Okay, since I have not in case 90 degrees, so what I am doing is, this was a 180 degree, so I am unbending it with putting it in two pipes. Okay, and then opening it. Okay, let's check it out. Almost it's now 60 degree. Let's slightly more unbend it. Okay, now I think it's 90 degree. Okay, come out. Okay, so look at that, it's beautiful 90 degree. Now here will be this, and here will be Honda fitting. I think we should slightly more bend it like it previously was, because the pipe is coming at this angle from down. Okay, so this is slightly more than 45 angle. Let's see how this stands. Okay, still it's, I think I need more bending. Okay, so that this clears it. Okay, let's bend it more. So it's almost like 80 degree. Let's check it out. I think tighten at first, then it will go down. Okay, still not going, and there is another problem because this fitting is sitting higher than this fitting. Okay, and we all know we hammered that lid on upside so that this was not touching here, but this is just a millimeter away from that, so I think we cannot afford to have any higher than this. So this is also touching this. I think I should bend it near here. Okay, so that the angle and the height is decreased. Since these U have more pipeline, that's why when we unbend it, the height increased. So now I am trying to more bend it. Okay, so that this is the 45 degree, but the height will be less when it's bent, if it works or not. So I am trying to bend it. It is bending, but look at that, it is kinking over here. So we do not want that kinking. So I got the idea, why not use this fitting and just I taper off this bar bands, okay, so that our pipe will be, the Honda pipe will be easily, and we can secure it with the fuel injection clamps we have. So height is less, all we need is cut this pipe and put it over here and we are good to go. Okay, I've cut the Honda fitting with a blade, and look at that, they also have a tapered end, okay, so this helps the pipe initial that bite. So I let some taper end, they flared end over the pipe, and now it's will be easy. Look at that, it's already going in. All I need to do is heat up this with the heat gun, and let's see. And since we will be using the heat gun, so there must be some water and some fire extinguisher nearby. And I have also opened the back lid, the fan is blowing, the doors are open, so that there are no vapors inside the car, okay, but still we need to take precautions, okay. So I'll heat it, and gloves is for purpose because once you heat it up, heat this fitting up, and this is plastic, okay, so if you, when you heat it up, there will be, you cannot hold it with bare hands when you push it, so it's better you keep a thick gloves with you. Okay guys, I tried, and this is the maximum I could fit this fitting. I know it's not all the way, almost halfway, okay, this one, but I think it's snugly fit. And you see, the more I was giving heat, it was kinking. You can see the kink here, okay, here. So now let's see, let's start the car and see. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, fuel pump come to life and no leak so far. Okay, the car is started. So far so good. Nothing, and this is nothing. So my finger is absolutely dry, you can see it, and that's very good sign. So you see, all the JB welds are not needed. Main defect was this Honda fitting. Not the defect, I say, they did not design this fitting for that much fuel pressure. That's it, that's why, because this fitting is a two-part fitting. One part is under and one, I don't know why Honda did it. Okay, so by getting rid of this OEM fitting and fitting our buckle net or buckle head fitting, whatever you called it, this is enough, no fuel needed. This is also similar fitting buckle head, but I have applied JB weld because at that time I did not know this fitting was leaking or this was. So now we know this is the culprit. We get rid of this, we drill our own fittings, and look at that, not a drop, okay, not any smell, nothing. Since this clamp was tightened this way, so the lid was touching it, when I change the direction, the fitting is now again leaking. So I think I have to do it with this side of pipes, because this Honda fitting is, this Honda plastic PTFE pipe is too brittle, okay. So when we heat it, this kinks, okay, as you can see, this kink. If any further, this will lose its diameter and the fuel will be restricted here, okay. Look at that, already it's kinked. So that's why what I will do is I'll go under the car and remove that shielding under the fuel tank, that big plastic all over. And I was trying to avoid this, but I think now I don't have any other way, so I'll just start removing all this big plastic. Okay guys, the bad news is that fitting is leaking on top of the fuel tank, and look at that, I have dropped this fuel down, and this is the fuel tank, and those two pipes, you see, okay, these two pipes, okay. These, to access these, we have to drop the fuel tank, and I am not doing that. Too much of work for too little reward. So what I'll do is I'll pass my online. Okay, since we cannot use the Honda OEM fitting, so what we will do is we have two options. We can pass this simple PTFE pipe and line it, align it, and line it with some fireproof shieldings, or I have this one, this PTFE nylon braided line. Remember, for fuel, this, look at that, the inside of this pipe, that is black. Okay, so this is rubber inside. This can be used for oil feed, for turbo, etc., but not for the fuel. But for the fuel lines, always look inside. Okay, and this is the PTFE or whatever that material is. This is PTFE lines. Okay, so we need this type of fitting for the fuel. Always remember, because if the rubber is inside, that will just fuel will eat it away, and this will leak within a month, I guarantee you. So and this is also PTFE material, almost plastic, slightly malleable, so this is also good. I use return for this, but for the feed line we will be passing this. And this is what old bicycle brake line, since these lines are packed like this circle, so when we open it up, they still resume the circular their circular form, so that is difficult to pass in straight line. That's why we will be using this my old bicycle brake line. Okay, so the line is passed. This is the line, let me show you. Okay, here it is coming through, and now I will just where the factory pipes are, I'll pass my pipe around them. Okay, now inserting the tube, inserting the nylon braided line into this heat protective heat sleeve shield, the carbon fiber shield. Very good, sturdy, heat proof and fireproof. You can look at that. This was this U fitting which I opened up, and now look at that, how beautifully it is. Exactly at the direction, this is the pipe I passed and the direction of pipe is slightly downward, and this will be fitting here. Okay, but remember, if you are going to try this pipe expanding method, have some extra, order some extra fittings. Okay, because sometime, look at that, this was 45 degree and I was trying to convert it into a 90 degree. So when I try to bend it further, so it cracked. So that's why you should have some extra fitting, and there is less chances of crack if you open this up, because that is not putting the strain on metal, instead it is relieving it, but bending them beyond their level. So this was up till 90, it was okay. So you see now the angle is beyond 90, it's almost beyond 90. So a 45 degree you convert, it can convert into 90, and a U shape you can even straighten it out. Okay, there will be no problem because the pipe is not kinking, instead it is expanding, so no problem with that. I'll be not going into the details of how to make PTFE AN braided fittings, but because there are hundreds of videos online, but I will be quickly covering. Let's see my tips, and there are two cutting methods. You can use these, or this is my favorite. Okay, this cleanly cuts. Okay, this cutter, so I will use this. And once you cut it, before you cut, kindly tape the ends, because otherwise the end will be flared. Okay, so taping is a must, and do not remove the tape until you have this fitting was like that. I opened it up, and you will insert it reverse order. Okay, the thread will be facing toward you, you will be inserted that way. Okay, once you insert it, then this is the olive ring. Okay, this is very must in fuel fittings. Okay, do not use oil based fittings because those don't have olive ring. So this olive ring, you will put it over the pipe like that, and then you will tap it with a hammer, or just tap it to the this plane surface, so that this can be evenly flushed against that, and then slightly put some oil over it, so it can be easily inserted in here, and then we will be inserting this and tightening this. Once this is beyond tightening with hand, we will be using the vice grip, and we will be using our AN wrench, or if you have respective key. For example, I know this uses 18 number key, okay, so instead this uses 19, so 19. So this AN branch is not necessary, but if you have it, all good. So that's in short. And it does not matter what the outside is. For example, this is nylon braided fitting, this is steel braided fitting, but the inside, look at that whitish material, okay, the inside for the fuel must be this whitish material, okay. And when you cut it, this kinks. So this is a little device which usually comes with this fitting, so you insert it inside and this makes them rounded again. Once you inserted this fitting, and before you insert it here, slightly flare these borders away, okay, so that these do not get caught into this here the borders, okay, here they are flushed, so I will just flare them up away from central fitting, okay. After applying some oil over the end, I have inserted that inside it, and now it's time so that I will just tighten this fitting. Once hand tightened, now it was spinning, so now I will be using this little vice grip and we will be tightening it further. Simple as that. Okay, take your time, do it gently. It's taking quite a force. Okay, not necessarily it, ideally it should be flushed, but since my threads are far away, that's why this is now very hard to tighten, so I have leave it as such. And once I start the car, I see if there is any fuel leaking, I will further tighten it to flush it up. But for now I am satisfying because I have experience making this fitting, so I am satisfied that this will not leak. Since this fitting slightly bumpy, here it was touching this, so I slightly unbend it with hammer, tuck tuck tuck, and it's now perfectly fitting. Okay, so it's now perfectly fitting, and slightly which this end is raised, so what I will do is I will apply some silicone sealant when I will be finally closing this. And Honda also has this rubber coating, but I will be applying some sealant over here where I have slightly deformed it. Now pipe all the way which is coming from here to the engine bay, and then we will be connecting it with our fuel rail. So the line has been passed under. So it's coming under here, this plastic shield, and going like that into the engine bay, and now I'll be tugging that with the factory fuel lines so that it will be not going anywhere. Okay, so you see it's coming here all the way and going toward that. It is very far away from the ground. Look at that, it is very far away, and it is also protected by this heat shield, as you can see, nice, and it's very away from exhaust, almost 6 to 7 inches. Okay, that's very much. And yesterday I told you I had to drop this whole shield, but that is not necessary. And to sufficiently drop this, just you need to open this bolt, another bolt is there, and this tie, and one is there, one is here. So these 4 to 5, and this drops sufficiently so that you can pass your own separate line. Okay, so now I have buttoned everything up, and this is the last bolt I am tightening. Okay, so I am done here, and in here I have already connected it with the AN fitting, AN6, and then this is the inline fuel filter. We have a fuel filter inside the tank also, and this is the inline fuel filter because the fuel quality here is not good, so I am using 2 filters. Okay, and other line which is this one. Okay, this was the factory Evap line which I used for the return line, and for Evap system that was right there. I shifted that into the back side above that rear tire, so I showed you in the previous videos. So now I again previously fuel pressure regulator was here, and now because it was too close to the turbo, because that was bulky, so that was almost nearly 1.5 inch. So now it's, you can see it's 4 finger braids away, and I am shifting that fuel pressure regulator here. So that's why I have brought the return line, which is this blue one, to here. Okay, you can see this white on slide. So now it's time we will be installing the fuel pressure regulator here somewhere. Okay.
Okay, the video is getting longer and longer, and I'm sorry for that because I want to cover every detail. So in next part we will be converting this into a conventional return system by using the stock K series fuel rake modified with my own method, and that will save you a lot of money and makes the process so simple.